All right, y'all, let's look at another problem where we have to find the derivative using the product rule and the chain rule. For this problem, I want you to find the derivative of y is equal to 4x squared plus 3 over the cube root of x minus 3. It might look like you could use the quotient rule, but the quotient rule would be very hard. So let's rewrite this with an exponent, a rational exponent. So the cube root, we'll write that as 1/3, but we're going to take it to the numerator, so it'll be a negative 1/3. So let's see what that would look like. It would be 4x squared plus 3 times x minus 3 to the negative 1/3 power. That way, now I know what my first term is and what my second term is. So now let's use the product rule. Remember, the product rule is first times the derivative of the second. Bring my exponent down, so that would be negative 1/3. Keep what's in the parentheses alone. Subtract 1 from the exponent, so that would be negative 4/3. And then take the derivative of what's inside the parentheses, which would just be 1. Plus second, so x minus 3 to the negative 1/3 times derivative of the first, which would be 8x. Now that the calculus is out of the way, let's do some algebra and clean it up. I noticed that I would just have 4x squared plus 3 times a negative 1/3 times x minus 3 to the negative 4/3 plus x minus 3 to the negative 1/3 times 8x. You're looking for a common factor. I noticed that they have x minus 3 in common. This has an exponent of negative 1/3. This has an exponent of negative 4/3. I'm going to pull out the smaller of the two, which would be negative 4/3. So that would leave me x minus 3 to the negative 4/3. And let's see what's left after I pull that out. I'd have 4x squared plus 3 times a negative 1/3 plus, when I pull that negative 4/3 out and I subtract that exponent, that's going to give me 3/3, or just 1. So it leaves me one of those terms in there, and then 8x. Let's do some algebra and clean this up. If I distribute, I'm going to get negative 4/3 x squared minus 1 plus 8x squared minus 24x. I'm looking for like terms, negative 4/3 x squared and 8x squared. Get a common denominator, so this would be the same thing as 24 over 3. So negative 4 plus 24 would be 20 over 3 x squared minus 24x minus 1. Don't forget that you pulled this out to begin with. It has a negative exponent, so we're going to bring it to the bottom. So this would be x minus 3 to the 4/3, which is good. However, I don't like this fraction, so I'm going to multiply by the least common multiple, which would be 3. So multiply by 3 in the top and the bottom. 3 goes into 3 one time. So 1 times 20, that would just be 20x squared. 3 times negative 24, that would be negative 72x. And then 3 times negative 1 would be negative 3, all over 3 times x minus 3 to the 4/3. And that would be the derivative of the original function.